okay
not
if I
say
record,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Do you have to sign something?
Yeah, it was like my doing a film for the first time, because I didn't really have any sort of sense of where I was, and a lot of the language, the tools that I use, that I was accustomed to using, were not there for me, and the rhythms were all off. You know, I'll just say, like, rhythm is a big thing. Like, you go, we'll do the wide, then we'll go to medium, then we'll go to over the shoulders, and then we'll turn around, and my coverage will be after that, so that's probably in about 45 minutes. And you just sort of like pace yourself, just like, you know, when I did plays, curtain goes up at 8, and your body gets ready for 8 o'clock. So there's all of that, and we were just in a close-up the whole time, so it was just very intense days.
And your
just,
eyeline is different too, right?
Right. So there's just, and so that was, and it, aside from being intense, it was extraordinarily precise, because you know, when the camera's that close, you have to be like very annoyingly precise about like, you look at iMessage over here. No, John, that was an inch too far, and now it looks like you're looking out the window to see if there's a burglar coming in. Like, it
Wow.
looked, so we had to be very precise, and those things were very integral to the storytelling, you know, noticing something here or there, because that's Deborah, but that's the web page, over here is YouTube, and like, it just got really, what can I say, it was just a little complicated, and of course that was all a blank screen, so it was just trickier than normal, other than be terrified. I mean, I guess it's for me, I have a little bit more of an optimistic take on it, which is, you know, the first it starts with an admission, like, my boy is 10, and he's already so much more computer literate than I am. I'm not, that's not exaggeration, he's way beyond me at 10. And so that distance, that gap is going to get wider and wider, and I can, you know, I can go to computer school and I'd never catch up, you know, and so your kids are always going to outfox you, or have the ability to outfox you digitally. So, but what you can control, as it seems to me, is, you know, making them feel loved and secure and safe, and you know, you can contribute to their self-esteem, so that when they meet strangers in their bedroom, not in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven, but in their bedroom, which they're bound to do, they're less liable to believe their lies, or they can prey less on them if they feel good about themselves. And so, you know, there is something you can control, but you have to admit that there are things you will never control. We try, but my problem is that I'm a hypocrite.
That's what my daughter calls me too. My daughter's
So I'm like, get off this computer, and he's like, stop watching People's Court. So, you know, it's an issue. That sounds like a good meal to me. You know, it's everything. We just be ourselves, I guess. I mean, it's for me. It's not too much thinking about it, you know, and accepting everything. I think it's easier when you have kids, and then everyone just loves the kids, or loves the grandkids, and so everyone stops thinking about that as much. But yeah, I kind of see it as enriching. You know, it's fun to have as many influences as possible, and claim as many identities as they can. I did say no the first time.
Okay.
And I'm embarrassed to tell you that, but I read the script, and I loved the story. I loved genre. I said, I want to do this movie. Could we not do it on computer screens was my issue. And I was just scared of it. I thought, that it would look like a video and not like a
real movie.
like a movie. And it does feel like it, look like a movie. So, my mistake was I didn't meet with him. And then Anish didn't stop. He said, no, you have to do this. So we met, and then I just liked him so much. First off, you met him. He's got great energy and charismatic, and I said, oh, maybe he can do it. Maybe he's the guy that can crack this nut. And then he also just told me, hey, we're going to make a movie. The movie that you read, that's the movie we're making. It's going to feel like, it's going to look different. It's going to look a little different, but it's going to feel exactly like a traditional classic thriller. And true to his word, we did that. I believed him at the end. There was still like, okay, if you say so, because I'm old. I just didn't have, I couldn't get there in my mind. I didn't know what it could be, but at some point I decided to believe him. Well, it's where we're trying to get to. This film is an example of what I'd like to do for every film, which is this, that he is Asian, but this also doesn't matter. Sometimes I'm essentially playing white people in a bunch of my roles. They were written white and then they cast me. This is very interesting because it was written Asian, meant to be Asian. That's a very Asian character, but he's also not an Asian character at all. And sort of the fact that it doesn't matter matters a lot. That the fact that it doesn't play into the fact that it's not overtly making a political statement, the fact that it declines to make a political statement about it, that is a huge political statement. And so that's what I love about it. Me, I think that I bought that phone. That's my phone. It's not your phone. I bought that computer. It's not your computer. When you buy yours, you can tell me to get off.
That's true.
That is some old man talk. I have to ask, I didn't even think to ask. There's so many things I didn't know. I think the only thing from my perspective, I think it could have gotten crazy.
Yeah.
Like they had a story to tell at the end of the day. But I do know that the one thing they made up was UCAST, because there's some darkness surrounding that particular app. But everything else is real, and that was like a legal risk they took. That wasn't pre-arranged. This happens, so it's real, it's true to life. They tried to be as true to life as possible, because I think there's been a history of cinema with computers that gets it wrong, and partially maybe it's because it's over the shoulder of the person that's typing usually, but over Meg Ryan's shoulder as she types out and says what she's typing. But yeah, we're still at the dawn of this thing. I told Anish we couldn't have made this movie 10 years ago because our vocabulary as a culture wasn't there with computers. My in-laws, who are in their 70s, went to see the film, and they're like, we loved it and we got it. We understood it, most importantly, which is an amazing feat when you think about the newness of the technology. But part of it is like, it's not as new as we think. In that opening sequence, there's computer nostalgia in that opening sequence. So we're like, oh yeah, we've seen multiple generations of these things. I keep thinking of computers as invented yesterday, but it's not. It's been around, and we are familiar with them, and we're all much more on them than we think we are.
Last question.
What is it like to be a hashtag?
I don't know. When I saw it, it was weird because it's not me. I didn't do it, but it's my face. And I think they're talking about me, and they're not talking about me. So it's a queer feeling. I'm distanced from it, and yet it is me too. I don't have a great answer for you.
Did it help you to get jobs where people like, yeah?
I don't know. I mean, ask Anish. Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your time.